Why would a world-class musician like Chris Martin shed tears over a single statement from BTS's Jungkook? What really happened between Jungkook and Taehyung? And even more shocking, did Taehyung secretly leave HYBE without any official announcement? The K-pop world is once again shaken by rumors, emotional reactions, and a painful reality that breaks the hearts of many fans. This news not only ignited ARMY's anger, but also moved global musicians. Chris Martin, the Coldplay frontman known as a close friend of BTS, was reportedly brought to tears immediately after hearing a personal statement from Jungkook about Taehyung's actual condition. This revelation is not only surprising, but also opens a more complicated chapter in the relationship between BTS members and the agency that has managed them since the beginning, HYBE labels. Jungkook's deeply honest and touching statement was delivered during a closed interview that was leaked to the public by a renowned European music journalist who had close ties with Coldplay's team. In that interview, Jungkook spoke not as an idol, not as a BTS member, but as a friend of Taehyung who felt lost. He admitted that there's a huge truth the public doesn't know about Taehyung, and that he feels guilty for not being able to stop something that should never have happened. These words opened the door to massive speculation that remains a mystery among ARMY and the global fan community. What really happened behind the scenes? Is it true that Taehyung left HYBE? And if so, why hasn't there been any official statement? Why is everyone silent? In recent months, there have indeed been suspicious signs. Taehyung, who is known for actively sharing his personal life on social media, has slowly disappeared. Several promotional schedules that were previously announced were suddenly cancelled without explanation. Even when the other BTS members appeared in broadcasts or special messages to fans, Taehyung was either absent or appeared briefly, often with an expression considered unusual. Many fans noticed that in the last live broadcast before military enlistment, Taehyung seemed more silent, avoiding eye contact with the camera, and appeared to hold back tears several times. Some very attentive ARMYs even caught a moment when Jungkook tried to reach Taehyung's hand to calm him, a scene that has gone viral again after news about Chris Martin crying began circulating across global forums. Chris Martin is known as someone who values emotional connection between musicians. On several occasions, he has referred to BTS not as just another K-pop group, but as true artists who touch the world through music and sincerity. That's why when Jungkook spoke about Taehyung with a trembling voice and teary eyes, Chris Martin couldn't hold back his own tears. "I can't believe the world is this cruel to someone like Taehyung," said Chris Martin in an exclusive podcast session that was later widely quoted by UK media. The big question then arose: why is HYBE silent? Are they hiding something? Is it true that there's an internal conflict that forced Taehyung to leave quietly, without farewell, without a word? Or is this all part of a bigger strategy to protect the company's image, which is now under pressure due to many controversies regarding their treatment of artists? An insider who wished to remain anonymous said that since early 2025, Taehyung had requested multiple times to renegotiate his contract. These requests were never seriously addressed, and according to the source, Taehyung was pressured to stay professional and not let personal emotions interfere with the agency's plans. If this is true, then HYBE is in a very delicate position in the eyes of fans, especially since such treatment contradicts the company's image of promoting artists' mental health and well-being. What makes it even more complicated is the fact that BTS members, RM, Jin, J-Hope, Suga, Jimin, and Jungkook, seem unable to do much. They do offer subtle support through song lyrics, cryptic social media posts, or small symbols during concerts, but there has never been an open statement from them. This makes ARMY even more curious. Are they all under the same pressure? Are they not allowed to speak? Meanwhile, Taehyung's whereabouts remain a mystery. Some fans speculate that he is currently in Paris, a city where he once expressed a desire to stay longer and be himself without the pressures of the entertainment industry. Some netizens even claim to have seen him attending private events with independent musicians and artists, without HYBE staff in sight. Does this mean Taehyung is indeed in the process of leaving the system that shaped his career? Many also link this to the social and political pressure within the South Korean entertainment industry, including how artists are often forced to suppress their voices, avoid being too honest, or even live fake lives just to maintain an image. If it's true that Taehyung chose to leave all of that to preserve his mental health and authenticity, then that decision deserves respect, not judgment. Chris Martin, in his follow-up interview, also spoke about how many young musicians lose their identity due to agency pressure and public expectations. I saw sadness in Jungkook's eyes, and I knew it wasn't just about work. It was deeper. It was about losing someone he considered part of his soul. This statement opened Pandora's box. Not only BTS fans, but also the global music community began discussing the treatment of artists under major labels. Some senior Korean musicians also spoke out, stating that what Taehyung is experiencing is not an isolated case, but part of an old pattern long hidden behind K-pop success. Does this mean that the Korean music industry is heading for a turning point? Will this incident spark a revolution in how artists are treated? Amidst all the speculation, only one thing is certain. Jungkook cannot hide his sadness, and Taehyung, in his silence, has left a scar felt by many. ARMY now awaits answers. They await honesty. They await clarity. And more than that, they await justice for Taehyung, for Jungkook, and for every artist who has ever felt voiceless within the system that governs them. And if it's true that Taehyung is no longer part of HYBE, then K-pop history will be changed forever. Because this is not just about the departure of an idol, but about the courage of an artist to choose himself. After the long and emotional report about Chris Martin allegedly crying over Jungkook's statement regarding Taehyung, as well as the issue suggesting that Taehyung has left HYBE, it's important to conclude this report by providing an objective clarification, based on reliable sources and presenting the truth as it is. Because in the entertainment world, especially involving big names like BTS and international artists like Chris Martin, not everything that goes viral is real. Many narratives are formed purely from assumptions, one-sided perceptions, and fragmented information. First of all, up to the time this article was written, there has been no official statement from HYBE, BTS, or Chris Martin confirming that the Coldplay vocalist cried after hearing Jungkook's statement about Taehyung. There is no visual documentation, audio, or testimony from credible parties validating that such an event occurred. Most of the circulating information stems from social media, fanbase accounts, and gossip portals that often spread unverified stories. Chris Martin does indeed have a good relationship with BTS, especially after their collaboration on the song My Universe. However, that closeness has never been linked to an emotional event as intense as the one reported. In his recent interviews, Chris has expressed admiration for BTS's professionalism and creativity, but there has never been any mention of an emotional situation as deep as crying over Taehyung's condition. Therefore, the claim that he cried over the news of Taehyung leaving HYBE has no factual basis. Secondly, regarding the rumor of Taehyung leaving HYBE, there's been no official statement from HYBE or BTS. Taehyung is currently fulfilling his military service, just like the other BTS members. His absence from social media, public appearances, and promotional activities is perfectly normal given the strict rules during military duty in South Korea. Most fans understand that idols' public activities will drastically decrease, if not entirely pause, during this period. Information claiming that Taehyung was seen in Paris or that he is away from HYBE supervision has also never been confirmed and often originates from anonymous claims or old photos being reshared without proper time context. Furthermore, some speculations linking Jungkook's statement to Taehyung's departure from the agency are merely subjective interpretations of interview clips that were never intended to discuss any member's resignation. Looking at BTS's communication history, the members are always very cautious when making public statements, especially concerning sensitive issues that could disrupt their relationship with fans or the agency. Jungkook, Taehyung, or any other member has never indicated that there is a major internal conflict or that someone is about to leave HYBE soon. Moreover, HYBE itself has strict procedures for any official statements, especially regarding artists as big as BTS. If Taehyung were truly leaving, there would certainly be a formal announcement to the media, as they have done for even smaller matters. The absence of such a statement strongly reinforces the belief that the rumor of Taehyung leaving HYBE is false. Another conclusion is that many of the currently viral stories on the internet are not based on official information, but rather on emotional narratives crafted to attract public attention. In today's digital age, information can easily be manipulated, dramatized, or modified to appear more touching. Yet, not every heartwarming story is real, AS fans. It is important to always think critically and not believe every viral headline, especially when there is no valid supporting evidence. The best support for BTS members is not spreading speculation, but keeping the digital space positive and patiently waiting for confirmations from trusted sources. Finally, this article is not intended to mislead, but rather as a journalistic experiment to illustrate how an issue can grow into a seemingly real narrative. The first part of the article is a simulation of an emotional news story in a clickbait style, and this final section aims to clarify the information to avoid further misunderstanding. Therefore, it must be emphasized that Chris Martin never cried because of Jungkook's statement about Taehyung. There is no evidence that Taehyung has left HYBE. All information suggesting a major conflict between BTS members or with HYBE is not officially proven. ARMYs are encouraged to continue offering healthy support, wait for official news from BTS or HYBE, and not fall into emotional narratives that prioritize virality over verification. Because behind every rumor, there's always a truth worth waiting for, not to be prematurely concluded.